That's right.
I just set my alarm for 3 minutes
H.
before we start. And
I have pros and cons.
Here we go. Here we are, live on the Metal Voice. Oh yeah, we got. We're gonna talk about.
I'm in a community of people.
Gotta fix that. Okay, now we're good. Now we are good.
Hello,
Live on the
welcome.
Metal Voice today, talking about KK's Priest. Gonna review the album that was out October 1st on Via Explorer One Music Group, EXI Records. Also, David Lee Roth. What's going on, Dave? Dave's retiring. David Lee Roth is retiring. Was it planned? Was it a prophecy? Or maybe it was just unfortunate, right?
Or by
Let's
design.
talk about that a little bit. We don't know the truth. We're just going to sort of talk about what's going on with Dave. But first, let's talk about KK's Priest. This is a band that features Tim Ripper Owens on vocals, former Judas Priest. Guitarist AJ Mills from Hostel, Tony Newton from Voodoo 6, Sean Elg from Death Riders and Cage. Sermons of the Sinner. Did I leave anybody out? Oh yeah, KK. I left KK out. So KK.
Tony Newton.
Who's he?
Right.
Who's KK?
All right. It was released.
Kenny Kessel.
Oh, shoot. Kenny Kessel. Well, good job, Kenny Kessel.
Round table. Let's take a look at this. Let's dissect this. First things first, let's just go around the table. Tom, Milwaukee Tom is joining us, filling in for Stefan.
where's he from?
Milwaukee.
Oh, cool. So it's not
Milwaukee, as Alice Cooper likes to
Come on over.
Milwaukee Bucks. NBA champion Milwaukee Bucks.
That's right.
So it's not just a clever name.
No. All right, first things first. Round the table, one sentence, first impression. What'd you think, Tom?
Pleasantly surprised after listening to the first few that were released. To me, it's a great guitar album. A lot of great lead guitar. Just
One sentence, just quick impression. Perrin, what'd you think? Quick, you put it on for the first time. What was it?
Full frontal metal attack for 50 minutes.
Okay, all right. Giles?
Really good.
Yeah. Were any of you, Tom, were you pleasantly surprised or pleasantly disappointed?
pleasantly surprised. Because of the lead guitars for me, again, I think that the songs written aren't that great. I think they do a great job musically. I think some of the songs at the guitar part save a song, but the sound is good. The singing's good. I think everything's good about it. Some of the cliche lyrics are a little.
All right, we'll get to the lyrics in a bit. We'll get to the Perrin. Pleasantly surprised or pleasantly disappointed? Because we had 4 tracks to listen to already, right?
I think Tom and I are going to be pretty well aligned here because I have to say, I was going to say pleasantly surprised until he did. So I had to go with the full frontal metal attack because I was kind of a little underwhelmed by the snippets and the first tracks I heard. But then when you listen from the album from start to finish, it really is like this full frontal metal assault for 50 minutes. And it's not music I would listen to right before going to bed, but if I'm driving in my car at a good speed or if I'm in the gym, it's a pretty good record to listen to for that. It's really pump you up. If you like heavy metal and all the cliches that go with it, you're going to like this record.
All right. Giles? Were you surprised? And you heard 4 tracks, then you heard the rest of the album.
Yeah, I
Was
knew
this
it was going to be good. I liked Hellfire, Thunderbolt, and Sermons of the Sinner. Brothers of the Road, I think, is really, really cool. That's a great song because it's about being on the road and rocking and
being brothers.
I like that sort of thing, and being brothers maybe too. Yeah, but yeah, good album. I find it a little weird how a lot's being made of some of the lyrics, but isn't that what heavy metal is? It has been since the 80s.
Sometimes
We'll get to that. Okay. So
I don't want to get all into. I hated it when metal started getting all intellectual with all this thrash bands going on about the environment. I think heavy metal should be about rocking and playing metal and and rocking a little bit more and playing
Note
metal
to
more.
self: do not play Testament's Greenhouse Effect for child. You know,
I hate all
I'm
that
gonna-
crap.
Tom,
I-
I'm going to read you some lyrics. Okay, let's
All right.
touch on
What's
this. Let's
that-
just get on
that's
this.
like
The lyrics.
that's like listening to that. What's that girl? That really annoying Swedish girl, Greta Turdberg.
Yeah, Greta,
Turdberg.
whatever.
I don't want that. I want to listen to songs about rocking
And brothers.
and brothers and
and the road.
the road. Yeah.
All right. So, Tom,
Yeah.
I mean, this has been all across the internet, you know, cheesy lyrics, cheesy lyrics, cheesy lyrics. But, you know, Jawbreaker,
Well, yeah.
United, united, united we stand, united we shall never fall, united, united we stand, united we shall stand, one and all.
I think people have this thing where if something's from the 70s or 80s, it's so ingrained and associated with a certain era that it gets this major pass. But if someone does something like that these days, it's instantly held up next to, I don't know, some crap from Coldplay or something as, you know, whoa, how can you write about that in 2000? Why not? That's what made metal great. You listen to Y&T, a lot of songs about rock in there. Scorpions, Rock You Like a Hurricane.
Yeah.
AC/DC, everything's about rock.
But Tom, but I know Tom was talking about the lyrics right at the beginning. And what was your point on that?
But really, personally, lyrics to me aren't that important. As far as judging an album or liking an album, lyrics can be great. You know, like some of Ronnie's lyrics or Maiden's lyrics, those are really cool. But then they can be what I don't like David Coverdale's lyrics. And I want to throw up when I listen to that. But I like his music. I'm just saying that it seems like it was an effort to confirm that I'm KK Downing, I'm still metal. We all know that. But he just seems, there's a lot of songs that have this, I'm shoving this metal down your face.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't
Go,
understand
Karen,
that.
go, Karen, yeah.
Jimmy, let me.
But before you go, I'm going to say firepower, taking lives, firepower, neutral lives. Is it any different?
But Jimmy, here's the thing, right?
I
So
don't know.
when you leave a band, it's your opportunity to do your own thing. You know, you can
His
like
own
what
thing
Adrian-
was
you can like-
fire. His own thing was Judas Priest.
So,
Right?
but Jimmy, so
Yeah,
here's the thing.
exactly.
So you know, look, you could like Adrian Smith's work outside of Maiden, or you could not like it, but it's kind of different, and it shows his influences. If you read KK's book, early on in the book, he really goes on and on about sneaking out of his home at a young age and going to see Jimi Hendrix and all of his influences. And this record shows none of what he says he was influenced by. So I kind of wonder if this is the record KK wanted to make, or this is the record he felt he needed to make to bring an element of Priest fans over with them. Because let me tell you, if Painkiller is your favorite Priest record, and it is not my favorite Priest record, but if Painkiller is your favorite record, and you like the Ripper Owens records, Jugulator and Demolition, you will love this. You will absolutely love this if that is your favorite era of Judas Priest. But if you're kind of like me, and you really dig Better By You, Better Than Me, and Desert Plains, and Screaming for Vengeance, you'll like this, but you won't love this. So there's a cheesy meter, and you know when I think, and to Giles's point, you know, there's a lot of cliches in metal, and it's there.
Yeah.
But you know, there were you know, Metal Through and Through and Wild and Free. A couple of those just go a little too far. Now, some of it is cool and paying tributes, like Return of the Sentinel. There's this little guitar lick in that song that is kind of the Sentinel guitar lick, and that's paying homage to where he came from, and I think that's pretty cool. So, kind of like Tom, you know, I'm not offended by the lyrics. I'm not gonna not like the album because the lyrics are a little simplistic. And Jimmy, not every Judas Priest song is like that. Like every song on this album is a little kind of formulaic and same, but it's a pretty good formula. So, you know, honestly, pleasantly surprised. Lyrics don't bug me. Music is really good. You know, the best part is the guitar. KK is really playing great. If you and you know, God bless Tim Owens. He's not everyone's cup of tea, but what he does it really, really well.
All right. Okay. Well, Giles, you want to add to that?
Yeah. Oh, I should. Okay.
Go
If
ahead.
you want,
Yeah.
you don't have
Yeah,
to.
no, I
Feel
do. I
free.
do. No, I love Tim. I thought Tim was awesome. I'm a big fan of his years of Priest. I mean, when Juggulator came out, I thought most people dug it. It seemed to get a really good response. But then somewhere around Demolition, the Let's All Knock Ripper kind of thing came in. I think they're both great albums. This this new, I mean, this is this a follow-up to Demolition? I don't really see it as that. This is more of a, if I had any complaint, I think that perhaps this at times it seems a little underdeveloped, like it was a wee bit rushed. I think, let this sort of percolate another sort of 30%, refined a little bit more. It could have been a real absolute classic. But it's a very, 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 very good record. And it's good to see KK still doing music, and it's good to see Tim hopefully finding a band and a spot where he can now reconnect with
Yeah.
fans, or
Being a
have
band again, right?
have a vehicle that's kind of good for him to go forward with, because he was kind of I mean, he still will. I mean, everyone's got to work. I get it, but he was becoming kind of the session guy.
Yeah.
But hopefully, this is something that can go on and go forward, and they can get on some big tours and do some
I
band
totally
work.
agree.
That's a fantastic point. I'm just going to read some comments here before we get to our comments. Tony's saying needs more cowbell. Okay. Tony's saying I'm more like Perrin. Yes, I like it, not love it. Gabe is saying I love all of Perrin's mentions. Oh, a lot of Perrin. Marty's saying I agree with the lyrics, and Jimmy, the lyrics are no worse than the 80s. Johnny's saying traditional heavy metal and always drinking from Judas Priest's vein. Many haters would say that KK's Priest is a copy and paste of Judas Priest, but let's admit it, KK was a fundamental part of the history. Mike M, heavy metal has always been cheesy. That's the appeal. And Bass is saying 10 out of 10, album of the year for me. KK sounds like he's 20 years old again. Hey, look at that. Patricio saying 9 out of 10, album of the year. Mad Max, do you guys think this is Judas Priest in their place? Do you guys think this put Judas Priest in their place? I meant. Mike, 7 out of 10. So, I mean, there's some cool comments here. I guess what it comes down to is, and I read some of these comments online, this KK's Priest is a tribute band. I mean, is Judas Priest not a tribute band? If KK's
I gotta clarify this. I hear this word tribute band kicked around so much. Here's the definition of a tribute band. A tribute band is a collection of musicians that have absolutely no even remote association with the band they're paying tribute to.
Okay.
Which means they wouldn't have the original guitar player of the band in their rank, which was KK. Right. So I hear this used so many times. Yeah. Tribute band, cover band. Tribute bands are people that have absolutely no affiliation or association with the band they're paying tribute to. None. So let's just move that right off the table right away.
Yeah, I agree with Giles. Like, we've even had a show about this before. One member, two member, what makes it a band? I mean, you do what you can do. I love Lynyrd Skynyrd, and I still love Lynyrd Skynyrd. And Gary Rossington, God bless him, is still out there as much as he can. And Johnny is the brother of Ronnie, and Ronnie's not coming back, and other guys have been in that band. Ricky Medlock has been in that band forever. Even Michael Cardelloni and other guys have been in that band for 25 years now. So,
it's the official estate. This is not a bunch of guys that just woke up one day and decided let's be Lynyrd Skynyrd.
Yeah. So I take offense to that too, because you know what? Hey, if you love a band and you want the music to go on, Giles made this point I think in private this week that sadly a lot of our heroes and legends are getting up there. And if we want the music to live on, this is the way it's going to have to be. And we all wish KK was back in Priest, but we don't know what went on, and we don't know what people's personal and business affiliations are. And if for now, this is what it needs to be, I'm pleasantly surprised by this record, and I'm glad it's out there. And, I know we'll talk about it soon, Jimmy, but I really like the last Judas Priest record. So, best of both worlds, maybe, for everybody.
We're going to get to that as the last point. All right, quickly, down the tracks. Let's just run down these tracks, okay? Hellfire Thunderbolt, I think we could all agree it's a good song. It's a great song, right?
Yep.
Right?
I thought it was an okay song at first. Coming off of that great intro, I love the intro on the album. I love that. And then coming into this song, I might have made the next song, Sermons of the Sinner, the opening track, but Hellfire Thunderbolt is great. You know, I might have flipped the two songs, but I think I like it better
Sermons
now.
of the Sinner. Okay, we all know that track too. It was we had enough time to absorb that. Would everybody say that's a cool track?
I don't like it.
You don't like
Really?
it? What don't you like about it?
It's my
Tom?
least favorite on
Really?
the album. I like Tim. Tim's a great singer. I really like him, but I don't like the whole song sung like that.
No.
I like the chorus. I like just the aggressivity of the chorus, Sermons of the Sinner. I really like. I love.
Yeah.
For me, that's a
I don't
Tim
know,
song.
to me, like two kick-ass songs right off the bat. I don't know.
They are.
Am I missing something here? I don't know what's
No,
going on.
the music is. I just don't. It doesn't.
Is it
It's
any?
not pleasing
I mean,
to my
it could have
ears.
been right on Firepower. That song, like, if you ask me, that could have been right here on this album, right? It could have
No,
been.
It wasn't
Tim's
my
more
top track,
screechy
but I
on
liked
that
it.
song than that.
All right, fair enough. Okay, Sardoce y Diablo.
My number one.
pronounce that.
That's my number
Really?
one.
All right.
That's up there for me. I love that track.
All right.
What's it called? Sacerdote
Sacerdote
Diablo.
Priest and Devil.
Priest
and Devil.
and Devil.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
priest
that's
and-
one of the
I
newer
thought it
tracks
was
I nobody heard. What'd you think,
Sacerdote.
Giles?
Okay. What?
What'd you think, Giles?
That's a good song. I like that.
All right, good.
Raise Your Fist. That's cool.
All right, raise your fists. What about raise your fists, guys?
Raise Your
Raise
Fist.
your fists in the air.
Good anthemic metal track.
I
It
agree.
Goes well with Brothers of the Road.
It was my middle. That was middle of the pack. That and Brothers of the Road were actually kind of middle of the pack for me.
They are.
But honestly, I like the whole album except for two songs. So when I say middle of the pack, it's because I think a bunch are great, a bunch are good, and there's only two that I'm kind of about.
Okay. All right. I think Brothers on the Road. I mean, I'm actually singing this song, and as I'm going about my day. I think it's so catchy. I feel like jumping in a car with my brothers and metal and taking a drive or something. I don't know.
Going to get an ice cream.
Go get All right. So here's another new song that sort of caught everybody a little off guard. Metal through and through. I mean, it starts off a very, Holy Diver, Black Sabbath, Dio sort of bass riff, right?
Yeah. I'm changing there.
A little bit of Beyond the Realms of Death in there, a lot of.
Let's
as
not
a drummer,
be,
Tom.
take it easy there. It's like
Tom, as a drummer, right? It starts off slow, then it goes fast, and it starts off slow.
Good.
I like the acoustic guitar piece about 3/4 of the way through. I agree
Good
with
chorus.
that.
This is probably the best chorus on the whole record, I think.
That's my favorite track on the album.
See, that's my least favorite track. On the See, because for me,
funny.
that's what just after like a lot of really good stuff. That's where I'm like, okay, I can't hear the cliche meter just went off the chart.
Yeah, I
there
know,
for me.
I know.
I don't think it's cliche at all. I don't think you hear anything
Really,
like that.
you don't
on
think metal
Firepower.
through and through? I'm like, is Manowar opening for them? Are they all gonna like?
What's wrong with
chase after
Manowar? I don't
wenches
understand
and
what's wrong.
They won't show up.
What, dude?
I mean,
They'll show
have
up
you
the night
heard
before.
this album, Perrin? I mean, it's all cliches.
I know.
They're all cliches.
I know.
It's all
It really is.
cliches.
They're really
Firepower,
not.
just like the.
We'll talk about that in a second.
Firepower.
Traitor's Gate, Spectre. No, I mean there are some cliches on Firepower, but no,
A few,
not all cliches.
like the whole thing.
Guys, look,
It should be.
I'm just saying, but metal through and through is what the 6th or 7th track on the album. By the time I got there, I was getting a bit of fatigue about being wild and free and metal through and through.
And play
being
it
on the-
first.
Like I love it. I love my bros before hoes. You know what I mean? Like I got, it's like I love my brothers, but like okay, I know I'm metal through and through. I have 10,000 freaking records in the next room.
But I kind of like that the drumming. It was odd. It was a very odd sort of tempo and time change there, and that's what made it cool. It kept changing, and then at the end it slows down completely, and then it builds up. So I mean, it's not something Priest does anymore.
Is that a curtain behind you, or is that a fake background?
This is a curtain. It's a curtain. You like
Cool.
it? I sleep in it
feel
at
it.
night. It's my blanket too.
He doesn't want to see you to see his dirty laundry.
Yeah.
I got an exercise machine right in back of here. Would you like to take a peek? Right there. See?
Okay.
Behind
The
the
magic.
Yeah.
The
The
magic.
sofa, is that the sofa I passed out on? Asleep.
It is actually. Giles slept on that
So-
couch right there.
I was
Right
so
there.
exhausted after like a
Slept
week
on
of
there,
no
that
sleep
couch.
on tour.
lifestyles of the not so rich and famous.
Yeah.
All right. So next track. Let's just go through this. Hail for the Priest. Hey, there's no
Oh,
cliche
you're
there.
missing Wild and Free.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wild and Free.
That's the track I don't care for so much.
Yeah, that was my second least favorite.
Yeah, that's Same here. That's the second least favorite for me.
Well, there's a chant at the end. Oi, oi,
Yeah.
oi, right?
Oi,
And, you know, it's a
oi.
crowd.
I think that Wild and Free, if had that been replaced with like a kind of like a Nightcrawler type track or something, that would have pushed this record right up to like almost a full marks. I think Wild and Free is kind of a B track for me,
Hmm.
Ah, yeah.
very much so.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to the comments. Agree with, okay, Hiroshi is saying, yes, I agree, like it, but not love it, but we most recognize the it's nice to see in this day's legend people that still rock. Unfortunately, we can't say the same from Judas Priest. We'll get to that.
I don't know about that.
Bass, agree with Horishi, especially live, feels like old people music. KK still has 100% energy. I mean, I think that's a cool point there. Like when I put this album on, KK's Priest, I felt like there was this massive amount of energy that that firepower to me, which I do like this album, don't get me wrong, lacks. It lacks.
I can't fault Firepower. I thought it was an excellent record. I thought the one before.
I think Firepower is a masterpiece. Again, let me know when you're ready to talk about the comparison of the two.
Right.
Okay, well, okay. So Tony's saying Priest friggin' helped invent some of these cliches. So yes, they do get a pass. Gabe, Metal Through and Through was a great mellow part, which reminds me of early Priest, and the chorus has a Lizzie vibe. Right?
It's a little too long also. 7.5 minutes for this kind of, on a 50-minute record, one track of 7.5 minutes was a bit much for me.
There's two that are really long, isn't there?
I think, yeah. But this is the longest one.
All right, so Wild and the Free, I think there's a consensus here that this one maybe did not really fit on the album. Maybe it could have been replaced with something else, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back. Now let's go to the Hell for the
Wild and
Priest.
Free to me is B-side material.
I liked it. I thought it was okay. I don't think it was the worst.
I mean,
Hell
apart
for
from the
Priest.
ridiculous title, I don't even think that's grammatically. No, I think I'm not actually sure that "Hail for the Priest" is even grammatically correct. I think you can only hail to. You can hail from, but I'm not sure if you can hail for something. Nevertheless, it's an excellent, excellent song.
Do we have an English expert online to see if this is grammatically correct or
Hail
not? Please,
for the
somebody
priest?
Google this. Grammarly, please. Grammarly.
Hail for the priest? I'm not sure.
Hail for the priest.
Hail to
Judas-
the priest. Hail to the priest.
Now again,
Yeah.
this starts off slow, a little bit of Sad Wings of Destiny in there. a bit.
Great. You know,
I
want
like
to
the
make a
song.
point.
I think it was my second or third favorite on the record.
If KK had wanted to go for the real credibility thing, he do a record that Priest haven't done in about 45 years. Come out with like a Stained Class or a Kill, that type of record. Slightly proggy. All the lyrics are sort of sci-fi or that kind of stuff. That would have been kind of the cred card. But I think he played it pretty smart here by kind of hanging around that Living After Midnight, Screaming for Vengeance, Another Thing Coming kind of area with things like Brothers of the Road, then with a whole lot of Painkiller mixed in.
All right. Return of the Sentinel. I
Two
think
ways he
they're
could
going
have played this. But yeah,
Return
I think
of the
that,
Sentinel. Is this not something Iced Earth, Glorious Burden? That's what I think when I. When
It's
I hear this.
fantastic. It's a fantastic way to end the record.
it is a good way to end the record. I think Hail for the Priest and Return of the Sentinel are both very good ways to end the record.
Yeah, I agree. And I have
Good
to say,
song.
like I said, if you listen, there's a guitar lick in there that harkens back to the Sentinel. You hear it, just a couple of bars, and what I liked. For me, that was like paying tribute to his past without copying the whole song. So I really enjoyed that.
All right. So how does this compare to Firepower? I mean, okay. I mean, he's getting his feet wet. We got to give him a pass on that. He's getting his feet wet. He's got this new band. They're
His
just
feet wet
getting
for
in the
50
groove,
years.
right?
He's been in the pool.
He's been in the pool dude, for 50 years.
But Jimmy, it's
All
very
right. He went in the
different from
pool. He got
Firepower.
out. He's
It's-
going back in it.
it's a very different record than Firepower. So, like I said, this really is a full frontal metal assault with a different kind of singer fronting it for 50 minutes. Boom, 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 boom. This thing bludgeons you 50 minutes all the way through. That's why I said it's a great driving record. It's a great workout record.
What about Tim Ripper Owens? All right, Giles as a singer. What do you think of his vocal delivery on this album?
I love Tim. I think Tim sounds as good as ever. He hasn't lost anything. He's a fantastic vocalist. I don't always think he sings. I don't always think that every record he's done has been the best material, to be honest. But this is a great record. When he's got great material to sing, he's awesome, I think.
Hey, Giles, I want to ask you a question. Am I misusing this term multi-tracking when you hear the singer, in essence, 2 different times, 2 voices? Is that multi-tracking?
Yeah, I mean,
what is that?
I mean, it's definitely a double track, triple track. Yeah,
but I don't like that.
But a lot of the times,
I think he's got such a great voice. I just
but
want
a lot
to
of the
hear his
time,
voice.
he's doing a harmony.
Yeah,
So
I know.
So you either like harmony or you don't like harmony. It's kind of, that's either a personal
I
preference.
would rather, for choruses, I'm all good with that. I like that. But when he's singing verses, I just prefer to hear a single
voice. They did
voice.
that in Quick Cathedral Spires as well. There was a harmony line under. I mean, I think
right.
I gotta say, Tim really knocks it out of the park on this album. He sounds like Tim. He sounds like Tim. He doesn't sound like he's trying to sound like Rob.
And knowing Tim, he probably did this whole thing in a week too. You know.
I don't know. It's a great vocal delivery. I mean,
that's what I mean. I mean, he can fly in for 5 days and do a record of this caliber.
For me,
he does a great job. Does a great job on it.
And I'm sure live, he's probably, there's no recorded tracks, to help him out. Tim's just the real deal, man. He's the real deal.
Yeah, I think it's the best thing he's done since The Glorious Burden. I think this is the best thing he's done.
Yeah, that's probably. Actually, no, I really liked that. I like it so much I've forgotten the fucking name. A New Revenge. I thought that was a really cool record.
Yeah, New Revenge.
I haven't listened to that a ton, but but if you think of the major stuff he's done, some of the Malmsteen and that kind of stuff, like this blows that away, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, the Malmsteen stuff, he was obviously just singing whatever Yngwie wrote.
Right.
Yeah. Apart from Red Devil, I actually thought the composition was pretty weak on that record.
Yeah.
All right, Johnny's saying, thank you, Giles, for pointing out the 4-2 issue on Hail. Right. So you're very good at grammar, Giles. That's it. Firepower is still great, and this album is up there with their best. Up, but not past it. So I'm not sure what that means. Kenny saying hi. Kenny, what's up? Marcy saying hi as well.
I'm really happy that we've had 2 great Priest records with Redeemer of Souls and Firepower, and now we've got this great record as well. This is a band that kind of lost me around that.
So that's the question here. Firepower or KK's Priest? Let's go, Tom.
I prefer Firepower.
All right.
I think I just enjoy it more. That's all.
Yeah, I think I like more nuanced and varied metal, and I think Firepower is that. For me, Firepower is a 9 on 10, and this is a 7.5 on 10. So both very good, but I prefer Firepower.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm the same as that.
I think I'm a little bit different. I don't know. I put both albums on today, and I thought I found more.
Firepower's got a lot of bloat, though. There's a lot of padding in it. I think they could have.
There's too many songs.
There's a lot of songs, yeah.
Yeah, they could have.
Started getting bored halfway through.
I liked what they did with the previous album, where they had a bonus disc, which kind of
some of
the songs on a.
Yeah. I would definitely put this at an 8 out of 10. I think it's just right out of the gate. He's doing. I'd like to see Tim participate more on the next album. Creatively, because KK was sort of focused, and I get the production. What about the production on this album?
I like it.
Yeah, really good.
It's a great sounding record. I said that to Jimmy privately yesterday. I'm like, is it me or is this?
There's a lot of conversations that were talked about privately that you're spilling here.
Yeah, no, but I mean, because I said to Jimmy, like, is it me or is this? Because there's actually so much stuff out there where we feel the production is lacking from major bands. That I'm listening to this yesterday and I'm like, man, is it just me or is the production on this and the mix too? Really, there's a lot going on. You got Tim's vocals, you got the chugga guitars, you have some pretty heavy drums. So to kind of get all of that and have the right instrument featured at the right time, the mix is really good. It's really strong production, I have to say. Like I'm a lot of bands with more budget can kind of learn from this to make a record that sounds this good.
Yeah.
So when we all heard the first releases online, it didn't sound very sonic to me. But when I bought the physical CD, I put that in my car and I turned it. It really sounds good. I think the drums are a little bit tuned down, but that's just me. Because
what about Les Binks? Did we want more Les Binks or less?
Yes.
Yes. I want Les Binks.
I want Les Binks.
Yeah.
I always want Les Binks because he's great.
Yeah.
But Tom and I were discussing this privately.
Oh Jesus! Everything's been revealed today.
And see, as much as I love Les Binks, he's my actually favorite Priest drummer of all their drummers. But I don't think this material is the best suited material to him. I know he could play it, but I kind of think of more swing and groove when I think of how Les plays. And while this is kind of Scott Travis-y kind of metal, you know? And they're different drummers, right? They're very different drummers. And I think either are technically able to play what the other can play, but I just think Les's default style is almost like a jazzier, more swingy style. And this is like rapid fire piston kind of stuff.
You know what? And I would think that was part of the reason why they kind of like didn't go with him, because they were looking for more of a, I don't know,
Scott Travis
mechanical
Scott Travis
drummer.
kind of drummer. You know, to be honest with you, you know, I think this is Scott Travis like.
Yeah, Scott Travis like drummer. You know, and Sean Elg, he does a phenomenal job. If you love that type of drumming, right? I mean, no doubt the guy's a great drummer, right?
He's good.
Yeah. All right.
I want to say one more thing about Les.
Yes, sir.
I actually did see Les play live with Priest.
Okay.
And he can play fast.
All right.
As a drummer, you know, going into every job that there's going to be a lot of songs you don't like because no one listens to the drummer anyway. And you're just going to have that.
Well,
you can play anything.
Les was on the Metal Voice, and we did talk to him about, you know, what happened. And it was kind of like, I guess it just didn't, COVID happened, and I guess KK had a vision, and it just didn't go right. But I think there was a good intention there to work with him at the start. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
you know
I just don't think this is Les's first choice of metal. I think Les plays a different kind, prefers. He can play this, but I think he prefers a different kind of metal.
yes.
Les is a very unique individual too.
Yes, I'm putting my hands now like right under here. So
are we going to talk about Survivor?
Survivor, we'll talk about Survivor after. But now we're going to talk about... Okay, wait. Round the table. Actually, not around the table. I want to know everybody out there. Rate it out of 10. What did you think of KK's Priest? Give us a number out of 10. You know what's fine weird? I always say this. People rate albums out of 5.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. I'm like, I got to pull out the calculator. What the hell are they talking about here? You know why? This is my theory. This is my theory. Do you know why?
Why?
Giles, do you know why?
Tell us, Jimmy. We're waited.
Because it doesn't sound bad. When you say 2.5 out of 2.5 out of 5, it doesn't sound terrible, but it's really 6.
We should rate it out of 100. It would be better.
Why don't we rate it out of 90?
See, if you do a 3 out of 5, people go, "Oh, sounds good," but no, it's only a 6 out of 10.
Well, I think 3 out of 5 is decent. I mean, I think 3 out of 5 is actually most albums.
Well, I think 60% though.
No, but I'm talking about why people use 5.
Well, 60% is most albums. If you look at most albums, they're usually 60% pretty good. It's only the 4s out of 5s, 5s out of 5s are reserved for those like desert island discs, I think. People overrate too much these days. They give average albums.
But my point is, and I get that. My point is, the rating system that some websites use is 5 out of 5.
Yeah, it's too low.
Because they're trying to create the illusion that a 3 out of 5, you know, sounds like an 8 out of 10. You know what I mean? But really, it's a 6 out of 10.
I'm losing interest. Can we get on with this?
Yeah, no, I find this fascinating.
So what do you want us to rate it at, Jimmy? What do you want us to give it?
All right, so I'm going to read out the rating, and then we're going to talk about David Lee Roth. Okay, Scott saying 5 out of 10. Luciano saying 8. MR611 Martin saying 8. Kenny 7.5. Bass 10. Gabriel 8.5. Mad Max 7. Mark is saying 7. Marcy is saying 10 out of 20. Okay, that's a joke. Which would be a 5 out of 10.
Decent.
Which would be a 5 out of 10. No, you see, it sounds like a lot, but it's not. You see where it's going with that? All right, David Lee Roth. David Lee Roth announced October 1st. David Lee Roth announced on October 1st that he is retiring. A little cryptic in his message, though. He added, "I'm not going to explain the statement. The explanation is in a safe. These are my last 5 shows." Roth also reflected on the passing of his longtime bandmate. I thought we might have been the first. I thought I might have been the first. And then he goes on to say, my doctors, my handlers compelled me to really address that every time I go on stage, I endanger that future, meaning, you know, sort of like his demise or death, right? Then I got this message from Metal Rules, which is Joshua Wood, a friend of mine. He sends me a video of 1993, A Little Ain't Enough. At the end of the video,
91.
90, sorry, 91?
91.
Okay. At the end of that video of A Little Ain't Enough, it shows David Lee Roth is retiring, and he comes out of this hoverboard kind of hover car. And it says October 10th, 2021, David Lee Roth is retiring. Point
Well,
being
he just chucked 30 years on.
Now I know at least 2 people have watched that video all the way through to the end.
now,
Yeah.
was this
The only 2. Like,
He
was this
you
planned?
know what he would have done, and it's no big conspiracy. In 1991, he probably just would have gone, "Hey, 30 more years," you know.
yeah,
There's
it's not a
nothing to
coincidence.
that.
Do you think he didn't know that was in the video?
No, I think that he announced it at the same year and time period. First of all, October 10th is his birthday.
Right.
Did he prophesize, you know, back in 91 that he would retire? Was it planned in his mind?
Way
or
too much
just
credit,
coincidence?
No.
Way too much
Right.
credit.
The answer is no.
Like,
David Lee Roth is a hype machine, right? He's a hype machine. So
And that's
he knows
exactly what's happening here.
Yeah.
Not enough people care for that to be even relevant. That thing in a video that most people have forgotten. I mean,
Well, now we're going to remind him.
Okay, Jimmy, here's what this is. Dave, at least finally, he's put up his hand and realized he can't do it anymore. He's reached an age where he just can't do it. And the more he goes out and tries to do it, sadly, he's embarrassing himself a little bit. So it's time to bow out. And this is about as gracefully as he can bow out.
Most people seem to be missing one incredible piece of news, that Alex Van Halen is going to be the drummer on these shows.
Oh, really?
Great point.
That's interesting.
I missed that. I did miss that. So if that's the case, that makes them pretty special, if you ask me.
I think that's pretty awesome. Him and Alex Van Halen.
That's amazing. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I think Dave is a little sad in the sense that I think you know, he released that Somewhere Over the Rainbow Bar and Grill where Eddie died, and just reading him a little bit in that interview with the Las Vegas Journal, he seems a little bit, you know, down. Like, I get it. You know, I mean, we all get to a point in our life, whether it's me or whether it's Diamond Dave, that you kind of stare your own mortality in the face and you know you have less years ahead of you than you do have behind you. And it gets to you. And that's where Dave sounds like he is right now. He's looking around and he's seeing friends not being well. And like, I hope he's well. You know, I don't take
That's what I was kind of reading into it. I was reading into it that he wasn't well.
But I think he likes people reading into it. I mean, Dave,
maybe
love him or hate him, likes being in the spotlight. So I think he likes people reading into it. You know, I think everything he does is very deliberate, and I think his crypticness in that interview was deliberate.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's all he's
am I
ever
the only
been
one who
about.
likes to see David Lee Roth in concert? I don't know. I'd rather go see him than Sammy Hagar any day. You know?
Why?
Today, I'd rather see Sammy. I mean,
Sammy's wanna be Dave. That's
on
why.
the Eat 'em and Smile.
He just wants to be Dave, and he can't. There's no magic. There's no magic.
He's nothing like Dave.
Sammy can still deliver. Like, Sammy can still do what Sammy does. Dave can no longer do what he did.
What did he do?
Sammy's awesome. I love Sammy.
Jumped around a lot and sang off key.
Anyway, it is sad, and the point is that let's not be sad. It's stupid to be sad. I'm not even. I mean, it's Eddie Van Halen, Ronnie Dio, all these people, either passing away or retiring. Yeah, it's sad. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not sad because this is awesome. We had how many 50 years of some of the best music ever. So let's not be sad about that. Let's be happy that they got to do what they did and we got to listen to it. You know, that's the important thing, I think. You know? And we can still listen.
I think too many people dissing David Lee Roth. You know, he's using.
I think there's too many people dissing. There's too many people dissing a lot of things because it is pissing down here all of a sudden. Wow.
Yeah, And I'm not dissing him, Jimmy. I love what he did in Van Halen. I love the early part of his solo career. I was never able to get through his book. I can't get through an interview with him.
His
I can't
book, you
listen
haven't
to
read
him.
it. Oh my God, you couldn't get through his book. I couldn't put it down.
Him and Tommy Lee. Him and Tommy Lee are the two people I just can't read or listen to. It's like,
Oh my God, I love listening to David Lee Roth talk. His mind is all over the place, and you know.
I just want to hit him with a stun gun, man. I gotta hit him with a stun gun and just shut him up.
You guys need to listen to me. He should do spoken word.
Absolutely.
I mean, I find it more.
He should be Henry Rollins when he grows up, is what you're saying.
Have you guys seen the Joe Rogan interview with David Lee Roth? It's sort of like it was.
It's really good.
It was incredible. It was like an hour and a half. I couldn't stop watching it because he's touching on everything. But anyways, all right, guys. I think that's it. So there you have it. Any last words? Everybody out there, should David Lee Roth continue if he can? Or should he just call it a day? I think he should continue if he can.
Whatever he wants to do. You know what I'd like? It would have been nice to have had one last kick-ass record from him, like he kept promising, you know?
Yeah.
He's dribbling a few tracks out on YouTube, but I'm not sure if that was the record that he did with John 5, that John 5 said sounded like early Van Halen. That would have been cool just to end the career with a, you know, kick-ass slam and rock record, but probably ain't going to happen. Dave doesn't really record anymore, so...
Well, as I was in Vegas, and I've said this many times, I was in Vegas watching Dave 2 years ago. People were standing, clapping, cheering, and you know, he butchered all the songs, but he was funny. People were singing along, and let me tell you, people loved it. Loved it.
It's the soundtrack to their lives. I'm sure they did.
They paid to come and see him, so you think they would be at least on his side.
Yeah. I know the Van Halen kind of went south when he was touring with Van Halen. There was a couple of shows people were disappointed, but I don't know.
I saw him at Madison Square Garden. It was really good.
Yeah. All right, guys.
All right.
Happy Sunday. Thank you all for tuning in. And
all right.
Pick up KK's Priest. Enough. 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 Pick up KK's Priest.
And don't put it back down again.
Sermons
Hail
of the Sinner.
for the priest. No. Hail to the priest.
Well, let me just see what grammatically. So Tony said his wife she has a master's degree in English, and I'd like to know if this was grammatically correct or not. And then Giles could tell us a little bit about Survivor.
I really like Survivor. You should check out Too Hot to Sleep.
I watch it every week.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Others do. All right, guys.
All right, y'all. See ya. Have a good day.
Okay. See you guys
Sunday.
later. Bye-bye.